Intense flames engulfed an RV in Browns Addition. Tonight, we're learning more about the man recovering from critical burns.
Light snow fell across parts of the inland northwest this morning, but there's the potential for an even bigger storm for later this week.
The Seattle Seahawks beat the Carolina Panthers 30-24 thanks to a strong start on offense and big turnovers on defense.
To breaking news on the Palouse, troopers are investigating a head-on collision on Highway 195. Washington State Patrol reopened the southbound lanes just a few minutes ago. Authorities brought all of the people involved in the crash to local hospitals who they tell us are in serious condition, though their injuries are non-life-threatening. WSP says one of the drivers hit black ice on a bridge and spun out into the southbound lane. So everyone just needs to make sure you're keeping an eye out for slick conditions on the roads tonight. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Pham. We do have more developing news we want to get to. We're learning more about a story we first brought you as breaking news last night. A Spokane man is recovering in Harborview Medical Center's burn unit in Seattle after an explosion engulfed an RV in flames. Spokane Fire Department says a mechanical malfunction sparked the fire while someone was trying to repair the RV's engine. People at the scene told our crew the man is well known in the Browns Addition community. And today, KREM 2's Brandon Jones went to Browns Addition and spoke with a neighbor who saw what happened.
Neighbors tell me this RV belonged to a man named Mario who's been around for years. He's described as a spiritual individual and is a staple in this community. His RV and the dog who was killed in this fire were two of the things that brought him peace.
I look out my window and I'm like, okay, well, let me go see. I go outside and Mario's RV is like up in flames.
Mario was working on some mechanical issues with his RV during the time of the accident. Something he's done many times before. Posted right outside of the Rosars and Browns Addition, the vehicle became engulfed in fire and nearly took out a nearby tree and power line.
And he was just fixing a random item on his vehicle and it just went poof.
Many of the items inside of the RV have been completely charred. Mario was transported to the Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, where he's being treated for severe burns. Unfortunately, his dog wasn't able to make it out.
All hell was breaking loose. Everybody's out, videotaping it, watching it, figuring out everything. It was just smoky, insane.
There's apartments right across the street and there's a grocery store right over there, and I've been told Mario always kept his eye out on things in this neighborhood because he loved the community that much. Spokane Fire Department was on the scene within minutes to contain the situation, and neighbors tell me they're just praying for a speedy recovery. From Browns Addition, Brandon Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you for that update. Meanwhile, check out Lookout Pass. This photo was taken this afternoon. Fresh snow blanketed the Idaho Panhandle and pockets of eastern Washington throughout the day, making for some slick travel conditions through those mountain passes. Many of us woke up to a dusting of snow in the Spokane area as well. Michelle Boss is here to let us know if snow will affect our Monday morning commute. Michelle.
It looks like we're going to be seeing some drier weather over the next couple of days, so the Monday morning commute won't be affected necessarily by any new snow, but we could see some other issues that could cause those roads to be a little bit on the slick side. As we take a look at satellite and radar right now, the snow has ended, but we are still stuck in the low clouds and some area fog out there in some spots, especially Pullman, where visibilities are down to a quarter mile and temperatures are in the upper 20s. So the potential for some slick roads due to some freezing fog down towards the Palouse. Visibilities elsewhere looking pretty good, but temperatures did not even make it above freezing today. Mid-20s right now in Spokane, 28 in Coeur d'Alene, and chilly out across the Columbia Basin as well. 29 in Moses Lake. Temperatures from the Palouse down towards Lewiston in the middle 20s to the mid 30s. So slick roads possible tonight due to some freezing fog, and some freezing drizzle is possible. Light freezing drizzle out of some of those low clouds tonight. So we could see again some slick roads, especially in those untreated side road areas. Next 12 hours look like this. Mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 20s, and we're looking to high of only 34 tomorrow. Looks pretty gray. Could see a little bit of sunshine by Tuesday. Wednesday night looks like the arrival of our next storm system, which could bring some heavy mountain snow and possibly some snow for the lower elevations as well.
Michelle, thank you. Well, and as Christmas rounds the corner, those of you celebrating that have been putting off getting a tree, here's a few tips to remember what you're looking for. It's important to know what size of tree you want before you get there, and once you're there, lift up the tree to see how heavy it is. You want a tree that's really saturated with water and isn't dry, so the heavier the better. Check to see if it drops needles too. If it does, it might be a good idea to pick a different tree, and make sure wherever you get the tree, give the trunk a fresh cut. The Inland Northwest also offers a host of spots to cut down your own tree. Green Bluff is an obvious choice, with many farms that spend months preparing for the season. On your screen here is a list of places to cut down your own tree. You can find other addresses and hours of operations on KREM.com. But I have a feeling most people have their tree up, but if you still need to do it, might be a good time to go do that now. Meanwhile, the Pierce County Sheriff's Department put out a Grinch alert asking for help to find the person or people who cut down dozens of Christmas trees. The trees were stolen from a farm near Puyallup. Our sister station in Seattle has more details.
The business is locked because they're closed for the season, but less than a week ago, when they were still open, at the back of the farm, thieves found a way in and made off with nearly 80 Christmas trees. It's a family business that's been around for 4 decades.
They were fortunate enough to win several contests to be able to take a tree to the Reagan White House.
Snowshoe Evergreen Christmas Tree Farm has a lot of history in Pierce County. Each holiday season here, they usually know what to expect, but this year brought a first.
Absolutely, yes.
Something Jerome O'Leary still cannot make sense of. Off of State Route 162, he opened the gates to show the damage.
In our opinion, they're coming down the trail and probably at night.
The Foothills Trail is where high theft warning signs are posted. That same trail cuts through the farm, and deputies suspect it's how thieves reached this place. Then cut a hole in the fence and left lots of stumps behind, getting away with 78 Christmas trees.
Primarily they were Fraser firs. They're premium trees, and we're one of the only growers in the area that grow Fraser fir because they're difficult to grow.
O'Leary says the trees were being grown for next year and are more than just a financial loss.
Certainly our family makes a living doing this, and so there is a financial impact. But more than that, 78 trees means there's 78 families next year that aren't going to have the opportunity and the experience to come and cut down a tree.
Now, what's missing here is taking a toll.
This isn't just a consumption, it's a tradition.
A tradition stolen, not just for a family farm, but an entire community. Natalie Swaby, KREM 2 News.
Well, they are calling it the end of an era. A local newspaper stand at Pike Place Market is shutting down. Callie Greenberg from our Seattle sister station brings us the story.
7, 8, 9, 10, and 40 is 50. Thank you so much.
Rebecca Eider has done this job long enough.
Okay, yeah.
To know this Saturday feels different.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is deceptive. It's not always like this.
Sure, the rush may have something to do with the holidays, or maybe it's the fact that this spot, where for 40 years people got their news,
sorry to hear the news,
thank you,
is now on the front page of the Seattle Times.
We're at the diner down the street and we saw it on the front news of the newspaper.
On printed newspaper.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, we have to come down.
After 4 decades at Pike Place Market, thousands of papers sold and one name change from Read All About It to First and Pike News. The store will close on December 31st.
It's the end of an era for sure.
That it is.
Yep. It'll be weird not being here.
Rebecca says in the digital age, the newsstand's nostalgia just isn't paying the bills.
It's a dinosaur though. Extinct. It's extinct now.
This area back here used to be out of town newspapers, as I say, not only from around the country, but from all over the world, and it was just the most amazing thing to see.
David Boardman is visiting from Philadelphia.
She says they still get the Nome Nugget.
Yeah, people buy it, they love it. Nome, Alaska.
He was once a customer. He was also once the executive editor of the Seattle Times. He hopes this spot, once full of energy, is treasured in its final weeks.
I hope what they appreciate is, a business that was built on providing the world to people. I mean, it really was.
An appreciation that will keep Rebecca busy.
I'm so sorry you're closing down. Oh, thank you. It breaks my heart. Thank you. Me too.
Until the last copy leaves this stand.
I guess I'll go find a job. It's not like I can work at another newsstand.
Sad to see that one go. On to sports now. The Seattle Seahawks likely needed to win its final 3 games this season to win the NFC West Division. They got one of those 3 today against the Carolina Panthers, 30-24. Karthik Venkatraman joins us in studio. Karthik, the team had a lot to overcome today.
Yeah, the offense started off very strong, but sputtered after that. And then after that, the defense came to the rescue, but things got a little close towards the end. Let's start with that fast start, though. The first 3 drives for the Seahawks all resulted in touchdowns. The Panthers had one of the worst rush defenses coming into this game. Chris Carson took advantage of that. He found open holes and made Carolina pay. On top of that, the Seahawks were connecting on the deep ball that was set up by the run. This a play action, and Russell Wilson finds his favorite target, Tyler Lockett. Then in the second quarter, Wilson's going to drop back to throw, and he's going to find flat Josh Gordon deep for a great catch. Both deep bombs resulted in touchdowns. The first 3 touchdown drives were 75, 80, and 75-yard drives. They sustained success early, but then the offense punted 3 times and turned it over once in the next 4 possessions. But the defense came up big time when the offense sputtered. Up 20-7 at the end of the first half. Panthers driving, not anymore. Bobby Wagner gets an interception, and Carolina comes up empty. Third quarter, Panthers driving again. Poona Ford tips the pass. KJ Wright gets an interception. And then on the very next Panthers possession, it's KJ Wright again. He's going to step up with another INT. The defense helped keep this a game at a stalemate more or less when the offense wasn't producing. What made this so impressive is 4 defensive starters were listed out before the game, and 2 other starters were injured during the game. Jadeveon Clowney, Michael Kendrick, Shaquille Griffin, Ziggy Ansah, all listed out prior to the game. Quandre Diggs and Bobby Wagner were injured during the game and did not return. Of the guys I named, Pete Carroll seemed more confident that Ansah and Wagner are going to be back by next week. This game got a little too close at the end, though. The Seahawks were up 30-10 with a little over 7 minutes to go. Then the Panthers scored 1 touchdown. Okay, garbage time touchdowns happen here and there, except the Seahawks then go 3 and out, only took 28 seconds off the clock. The Panthers got the ball back and scored in just over a minute. So now this is a 1-possession game. Seahawks all of a sudden needed a 3rd and 11 to convert it and put the game away, or risk the Panthers scoring again with all the momentum they built. While Wilson finds trusty Lockett to finally put this one away, and the Seahawks hold on to win 30-24.
It was a really big accomplishment to get this win today, and it got a little tough at the end, but we did a lot of really good things today.
A 2-3 series period there that we didn't get things going, which we really should have, and so we got to figure that out. We'll study the film on the plane, figure all those details out, and figure out how we can be precise. I mean, we scored, 30 points or whatever, and there's more out there on the field, and so that's what we're looking forward to.
You know, we had a lot of momentum-changing turnovers. When you felt like they were kind of getting into the game, it was either a pick, a sack, something that happened, and so it's something that we could build on.
The win really matters because of what happened in the 49ers game today. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons after this game-winning touchdown catch by Julio Jones, who received it from Matt Ryan. So that means that since both these teams have the same record and the Seahawks beat the 49ers earlier this year, the Seahawks are back atop of the NFC West division, and the Seahawks control their own destiny. If they win their final 2 games, both going to be at home, then they are the NFC West Division champs. Next week, the Seahawks are going to take on the Arizona Cardinals, Tim.
I know the Seahawks fans on Twitter, they were all saying they were rooting for the Falcons for the first time, and the end of the game, it really had people's hearts pumping.
Yeah, Julio Jones barely got that ball over the line by inches. It's a game of inches, and those inches resulted in the Seahawks back atop of the NFC West.
How do you think the Seahawks will do against the Cardinals?
The Cardinals should be a pretty easy opponent. Their defense really lacks. The Seahawks have already beat them once this year, so that'll be good for them. That big matchup, Week 17 against the 49ers, could be the one that ends up deciding it all. So we're in for an intense finish here.
That's right. Wouldn't be a Seahawks season without it, Karthik. Nah. Thanks so much. Well, a Western Washington man was charged with a hate crime after he allegedly choked an Uber driver. Still ahead tonight, the driver is Sikh. He says he's now worried for his family's safety.